Om. Om Namo Narayanaya. Namo Narayanaya. Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki, Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki. Om Namah Shivaya. Good evening to everyone. So tonight we have another satsang on the topic of Ahimsa, or non-violence. And I would like to share with you some beautiful teachings and also a story from Swami Sivananda. But before I start that, I would like to connect it to something very special that is going to happen next week. And next week, Tuesday, we're going to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi, which is the birthday of Lord Ganesha. And this is a beautiful holiday which is celebrated everywhere in India and in many, many other countries. Many yogis are celebrating this birthday of Lord Ganesha. And I don't know if you're familiar, Ganesha is the elephant-headed god, very cute, sometimes with a big belly, holding laddu, modakas, these sweets. And Ganesh Chaturthi symbolizes the birth of Lord Ganesha. But those who know the original story of Lord Ganesha know that this is not his first birth. He actually had another birth, and this is his second birth. So I would like to just share with you this little story and connect it to our subject today. So, you know, Lord Shiva and Parvati are the parents of Lord Ganesha. And when Lord Shiva was very busy, because, you know, Lord Shiva is the divine aspect of destruction, so he was very busy destroying the evil in the universe, Parvati, the divine mother, felt very lonely. And she was taking a bath, and she was putting this sandalwood paste all over her body, and then she was scrubbing the dirt out of her body. And there was a pile of dirt created in front of her, and she took this pile and she created a beautiful baby out of this pile of dirt. And then she breathed life into it, and it became Ganesha. So it was the cutest child, and he was so loyal to his mother, and they were playing together. And she wanted to make a ritual which will make sure that Ganesha will live forever. And, well, it's a long story, which I'll make very short. And so while she wanted to start this ritual, she asked Ganesha to make sure that no one enters, because she needs to take a shower and then to perform this very special puja, this very special ritual. And so no one is allowed to enter because she needs to finish this ritual. And so Ganesha was so, convinced to take care of the entrance. And so he wouldn't allow anyone to enter. And guess who came back meanwhile home? Lord Shiva came back home. And so Ganesha wouldn't allow him to enter. And the different gods and goddesses started coming and convincing Ganesha to allow Lord Shiva to enter. But he won't agree. And then there was a whole quarrel going on. And Ganesha started threatening Lord Shiva himself and throwing weapons on him. And eventually Lord Shiva had to throw his Trishula. This is the trident of Lord Shiva, if you're familiar, and cut his head. So Ganesha's head was cut. And this is the moment where the Divine Mother Parvati comes out, and she's furious because she sees her child dead, and she's threatening to destroy the whole universe if they won't bring this child back to life. And so she starts destroying the universe, and meanwhile Lord Shiva sends his attendants to go and very quickly find a creature whose head is going to face the nurse, and who will willingly give his head, which will be put on Ganesha's body, so Ganesha can be revived. And so when they go out, Indra goes and other gods and Nandi, the servant of Lord Shiva, the first animal they see is an elephant who was a great, great devotee of Lord Shiva. And actually he really wanted to shed this mortal life. And so very willingly he was giving his head to those attendants of Lord Shiva so he can unite, in his consciousness. And so this head was attached to Ganesha's dead body, and then it was the Ganesh Chaturthi. This is the birth of Lord Ganesha. Now Ganesha is alive, and now everyone is celebrating, and this is the celebration of Ganesh Chaturthi, the birth of Ganesha. And why did I want to share it with you? Because, see, all these wonderful, beautiful stories are really symbolizing our spiritual path. And so in this story, the Divine Mother, who is taking a shower, who is bathing and preparing to do a puja, this is the Kundalini Shakti, the divine power dormant in our Muladhara chakra. So Ganesha symbolizes the Muladhara chakra, the first chakra, which has this divine energy, which is kind of dormant, right? Which is asleep. Lord Shiva is the consciousness, is the pure consciousness, and it wants to unite with this Kundalini Shakti. So it wants to awaken this divine Shakti, but Ganesha doesn't allow. Why is that? Because Ganesha is made out of dirt. So this dirt symbolizes the ego. It symbolizes our brutal nature, our negative tendencies, this very egoic, selfish nature. So this very selfish nature won't allow this Kundalini Shakti to unite with the pure consciousness. So this very egoic head needs to be taken out, needs to be cut, so this elephant head, which symbolizes knowledge and wisdom and devotion. And so this cutting of the head of Ganesha and putting the elephant head on him really symbolizes us cutting this selfishness, eradicating this ego, and allowing the pure consciousness to awaken this dormant divine energy in us. And so the whole process of Ahimsa, what we're speaking about, this is exactly it. This is exactly killing the brutal energy in us. This is becoming more and more aware of the selfishness that manifests in our daily life and cutting its head. Cutting its head day by day, moment after moment, seeing this selfishness manifesting and cutting his head and replacing it by Ganesha's head, by wisdom, by purity, by sacrifice. And so I just wanted to connect it to this Ganesh Chaturthi, which is a beautiful holiday which we'll celebrate next week. And so I would like to read a little bit from this beautiful book, Bliss Divine, and then share a beautiful story. So I think yesterday morning, it was very long ago, I don't really remember when was it that we started the chapter on Ahimsa from the Bliss Divine, where Swamiji was sharing with us that Ahimsa means non-violence, but not only non-violence, it also means cultivating love, pure love. And he was talking that non-violence doesn't only mean non-violent hand, but it also means non-violent heart and non-violent thought, mind. And so he was showing us many, many different ways of violence, which we might not even conceive as violence, but he suggested to those who really want to go with this practice all the way deep to try and pay attention to any harsh words, to any, gestures of the face, of the eyes, of the voice, to pay close attention to how we act in our daily life, how we talk, and how do we think. And try in these three levels of body, speech, and mind to bring more and more love and try more and more to eradicate these violent tendencies. And so today I would like to read a very practical paragraph from this chapter, and this is called gradational practice of Ahimsa. So Swamiji understands that when we come to the spiritual path, not all of us are very advanced practitioners. Truly speaking, many of us are beginners, and we can be beginners for many lifetimes in the yogic field. So it really takes a lot of time to become aware of these tendencies and work with them. It demands a lot of patience and a lot of self-acceptance, because many times we see those tendencies and we're so angry at ourselves for having them and not being a good yogi. And so it demands a lot of courage, a lot of sincerity, and a lot of courage to face those inner battles and to really, go with them slowly and gradually. So Swamiji says, when thoughts of revenge and hatred arise in the mind, try to control the physical body and speech first. Do not utter evil and harsh words. Do not censure. Do not try to injure others. If you succeed in this by practice for some months, the thoughts of revenge, having no scope for manifesting outside, will die by themselves. It is extremely difficult to control such thoughts from the very beginning without having recourse to control of body and speech first. So Swamiji says usually those three are very connected to each other, the thought, the speech, and the action. And so he says usually, all of us have some tendencies, be it from any trauma or any, past experiences where we feel anger or irritation or frustration. And so when those come up, he says, usually it comes in a physical form, in a speech, and in the mind. And so he says it's very, very difficult to control the mind from the beginning. So he says start from the body. Pay attention how your body wants to act and stop the body, and try to stop the speech also. So basically you are leaving it only on the mind level. And this might seem like suppression or, neglect or something, but truly speaking, it just trying to control, but being very much aware of what is going on in our own minds. So we definitely acknowledge it, we definitely see it, we don't try to say, I don't have it, we don't try to run away from it, we can write it down, we can journal it, but from outside we try as much as we can to stop the physical outburst of those emotions and those violent thoughts. So Swamiji says the more you succeed in doing that, and the more inner work you are doing, of course, he's also advising on doing something which is called self-analysis. So at the end of each day, we write down in our diary which kind of thoughts, actions, words we had today, and what we would like to keep and what we would like to change. And if we'd like to change, how would we change it? If the same situation comes tomorrow, how would we like to change it? How would we like to behave if it comes again? So he says basically by practicing in this way, after a few months, you will see that those thoughts gradually subside because they have no outside way to go out. So they gradually subside. First, control your physical body. When a man, this is very difficult in the beginning. The old samskaras, impressions, of revenge, tooth for tooth, tit for tat, eye for eye, and paying in the same coin will all force you to retaliate, but you will have to wait coolly. Reflect and meditate. Do vichara. The mind will become calm. So it's a beautiful combination of, from one side, we work with the thoughts, we pay attention, and we try to stop the negative thoughts. And at the same time, we constantly nourish the mind with kirtan, pranayama, asanas, meditation. So anything which gives more and more nourishment to the mind, peace to the mind, love to the mind. So these two combine each other and create really success. The Swamiji said the mind will become calm. The opponent who was very furious will also become calm because he doesn't get any opposition from your side. I can share with you from teaching many years in positive thinking courses, meditation courses. I remember this one lady, she tried many methods. She had many quarrels with her husband. And the one method she really liked the most was repeating her mantra. So she fell in love with Om Namah Shivaya. And she said anytime he would approach her and they would be used to quarreling a lot and fighting and screaming at each other. And she said, so what she started doing is that when he would approach her with any, loud voice and she would feel that the quarrel is about to begin, she would just start repeating Om Namah Shivaya very fast in her own mind without even telling him. But from inside, she was trying to fight her own anger and frustration. And she said what happened, he didn't really understand what's going on, why she's not answering in the very same way as before. And gradually, it allowed the whole, thing to subside. And she was shocked how nicely it worked, just by this inner practice, being able to succeed in the relationship. So Swamiji says, the opponent who was very furious will also become calm because he doesn't get any opposition from your side. He gets astonished and terrified also because you stand like a sage. By and by, you will gain immense strength. Keep the ideal before you. Try to get at it, though with faltering steps at first. Have a clear-cut mental image of Ahimsa and its immeasurable advantages. Swamiji says, definitely we're going to fail. So if we take it really seriously, definitely we'll have so many opportunities. Swami Brahmanandaji always says, if you decided to become a yogi, and especially to practice Ahimsa, this doesn't mean that all those around you are also decided to be yogis and to practice Ahimsa. Many times it means the very opposite. The moment you are taking something very seriously, the world kind of brings you all the challenges you need in order to grow and overcome those same difficulties and challenges so you can really succeed and proceed. After controlling the body, control your speech. Make a strong determination. I will not speak any harsh word to anybody from today. You may fail 100 times. What does it matter? You will slowly gain strength. Check the impulse of speech. Observe mauna, silence. Practice kshama, or forgiveness. Say within yourself, he is a baby soul. He is ignorant. So he has done that. Let me excuse him this time. What do I gain by abusing him in return? To err is human, to forgive is divine. So it's a beautiful way to approach it by, instead of judging the other person and criticizing, which you are very, very regular to do because we have those tendencies. Swami Sivananda writes, every one of us mastered one quality, which is fault finding. We're so good in finding faults in others, in criticizing them. We have like a diplomas on the walls in this specific subject. So he says, instead of that, when you see someone behaving in a way which is improper, you better think to yourself, he doesn't have any other better option. Right? So sometimes we just don't know how better to behave. We just didn't see better example. So this brings a lot of compassion to our mind. It's not from a point of, oh, I'm so much better than he or she, right? I know how to do it. Not at all from this standpoint of view, but rather understanding that each one of us is supporting each other on this spiritual path. And, many times we say we're really saint makers of each other. So we kind of step on each other's toes or sensitive points, and by this we really mirror to each other what is that thing that we need to work on, so it becomes very clear for us. So Swamiji says, finally go to the thoughts and check the thought of injuring. Never think also of injuring anyone. Oneself dwells in all. This is a beautiful way. So as long as we perceive ourselves like I am this separate being and she's something else and he's something else, this will always bring judgment, jealousy, competition, and all others. But Swamiji gives us the very absolute solution to this problem. And he says, try to see the one consciousness everywhere, the one Atman, the one soul. Because if you see yourself as separate and you're just trying to cultivate goodness, good heart, compassion, it's very good. It's very, very good, but it won't save you at the time of danger. The absolute solution is really to see oneness, because this is the absolute truth. If we are able to perceive the one consciousness behind all names and forms, then jealousy is gone. How can I be jealous of my own self? This is my own self, right? But if I perceive there another, there is a very good chance that I'm going to compete with him or her, that I'm going to become angry or irritated. So the absolute master key solution is what Swamiji says at the end. He says, oneself dwells in all. All are manifestation of one God. By injuring another, you but injure your own self. By serving another, you serve your own self. Love all, serve all, hate none, insult none, injure none in thought, word, and deed. Try to behold your own self in all beings. This will promote Ahimsa. So he really summarizes this paragraph. It's not the end of the chapter, but he summarizes it that if we are trying our level best to see the one reality everywhere and to love all and to serve all, gradually this selfishness, this dirt, right, this previous Ganesha's head is going to be eradicated, and the pure mind will come up. And this pure mind is the best tool to perceive the truth, because we already are that consciousness. It's not that we need to find it. It's not that we need to achieve that. We already are that reality, but in order to allow the mind to perceive that, the mind needs to be very pure. So these practices of trying not to injure others and doing our level best to serve and to love, they just allow the mind to become crystal clear, very, very pure, which will allow us to see the bottom of the lake, who we truly are. And so we'd like to conclude with a beautiful story. This is one of the beautiful books, which is called Inspiring Stories by Swami Sivananda, where he puts the most beautiful truths in a way of these charming stories. My mind personally loves stories very much, and many times I learn from stories more than from high philosophy. So this one is called Ahimsa Ideal. So what will be the ideal? So Swamiji says, a poverty-stricken man was walking through a grove. He was very hungry. He had not taken any food for the previous 3 days. The grove was full of mango trees, and it was the mango season. The luscious fruit was too tempting, so the hungry man instinctively walked over to a stone, took it, and threw it at the tree. A couple of mangoes fell on the ground. The man's face glowed with joy, and as his hands hungrily sought the fruit, his mouth dripped with saliva. So Swamiji is really amazing in, describing to us this situation of someone very hungry, throwing a stone, and these beautiful mangoes come. In the joy of having obtained the fruit to appease his hunger, the poor man did not give a thought to the course of the stone had taken after cutting the fruit away from the tree. Having achieved its object, the stone had to fall. The momentum given by the man's hunger was great, and the stone soared into the sky before dropping down. Destiny, the creatix of strange situation, had conspired to bring into the grove that day the poorest of men as well as the ruling monarch of the land. The poor man at the threshold of death sought something, anything to appease his hunger. The great monarch, after a royal dinner, sought the cool shade of the trees to while away his time by playing chess with his consorts and ministers. The monarch and the miserable wretch were unaware of each other. The missile that struck the tree and felled the fruit was an inert stone. It could not respectfully avoid the monarch. It landed on his head. The turban protected the skull, but it was thrown off and put out of shape. The monarch, immersed in delightful play with his consort, had no mind to investigate the course of the sad fate of the turban. But his courtiers could not brook the insult to the king. They sought the miscreant, the poor man who was greedily eating the luscious fruit. The servants were eager to forestall the monarch's worst punishment and wanted to demonstrate their loyalty to him by meting out capital punishment on the one who had least offended his person. It happened in this case too that the king's ministers of law held an immediate court and on the spot condemned the poor man to death for assaulting the king. The king rose from the game, and the minister of law then announced that the miscreant had been severely punished for his outrageous act. "Bring him to us," said his majesty. The poor man was brought before the monarch. "Why did you throw the stone?" "To obtain the mango." At what did you throw the stone?" "At the tree." "Did you get the mango?" "Yes, your majesty." "Have you eaten the mango?" "Yes, your majesty." The king turned to his ministers of law. "The poor man was hungry and struck the tree with a stone. He obtained a mango and has eaten it. Now tell me, how long would he be free from hunger?" "For about 24 hours, your majesty." "That will do. Now we'll pronounce our judgment." The entire crowd waited with bated breath. Could it be something worse than the judge's sentence? "We command that from today till the end of his life on earth, this poor man shall receive from our treasury wealth enough to maintain himself. Communicate this order at once to the finance minister." Everyone was amazed. What a manner of punishment is this? The queen thought that she was responsible for it, and that the pleasant mood that she had brought on the king had put him in a light vein, and so he had not rewarded the poor man. She smiled significantly. "My dear," she said the king to the queen, "tell me, is the tree a sentient or insentient object?" "Of course insentient, my lord." "And I?" "What a question to ask, great one." "Man, the crown of creation, is a sentient being. You are a jewel among men. You are divinity truly. Who has surpassed thee in knowledge and wisdom?" "Then, my beloved, is it not fair that I, a sentient being, prove that I am worthier than insentient tree of this status that God has granted me? You are, my lord, you are the worthier than all men in fact and wisdom. But why do you say all this? Look, The poor man struck the tree with a stone. It gave him a luscious fruit to eat. It appeased his hunger for a day. The stone fell on me as he threw it. It was a jad, and he hit me with it. Should I not prove I am worthier than a tree? That is why I have ordered that his necessities be provided for throughout his lifetime. The ministers, servants, and the queen fell at the monarch's feet and kissed the dust beneath them. They glorified him. Our sovereign, you are truly divinity upon this earth. Who but God himself could manifest such compassion at a time like this? Lord, you rank in this virtue with Lord Buddha and Lord Jesus, with the great saints and sages of all times. Hail, hail! May your majesty's wise and fruitful reign last for many years upon this earth, for only rulers like you can inspire people to cultivate compassion, cosmic love, and forbearance. Inspired by your glorious example, people will love each other, serve each other, and thus purified at heart will transform themselves into divine beings. Bless us, O Lord, that we may be worthy servants of Thee. So this is a sweet story where Swami Sivananda really portrays this very great truth that our tendencies are many times like the ministers of the king, right? We want to return in a harsh way. We want to retaliate. We want to do something evil when something is done to us. But if we rise beyond our human nature, we become divine. So what he was showing here, that in each one of us, we have these three natures: the brutal, the human, and the divine. And only the divine nature leads us to liberation. This is what Lord Krishna says in chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita. So the more we can overcome this brutal and human nature and raise ourselves to our divine nature by forgiving, by cultivating love, even in moments of hardships and challenges, then we'll definitely reach our goal of life, which is going beyond human itself. Oh, that's that. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. So review the schedule for tomorrow. Tomorrow, 24th of August, in the morning, we'll continue with last satsang on this subject of Ahimsa. And 8, yoga class on the garden platform, 9:50 brunch, 11 o'clock, Ashram Welcome and History Tour, meeting at reception. At 12, we have another workshop in the Annapurna Devi house. And today we did a deep relaxation workshop with the message of Ahimsa. And then 4, a yoga class on the garden platform, 5:50 dinner, 7 Gita Parayana in Annapurna Devi house, and evening satsang. Swami Shambhudevananda will continue with the subject of thought power. So now we conclude with the final prayers, and we have a request to dedicate this to Hanuman's brother, Luca. Today is his birthday. So we wish him happy birthday, and we're going to dedicate the final prayers, the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, for his long life, peace, prosperity, and spiritual liberation. Page 97. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandana Mrityor Mukshyama Mritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandana Mrityo Mukshyama Mritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandana Mrityo Mukshyamamritat. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makashe Dukhabhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Universal Prayer by Swami Sivananda, page 99. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchit Ananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the invalor of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation, to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember thee. Let us ever sing thy glories. Let thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in thee forever and ever. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Please stand up for Arati. You can follow on page 118.
Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Vinna Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jai Jarati Venkataramana Venkataramana Sangataharana Sitarama Radhe Shyama Jai Jarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jai Jarati Rajarajeshwari Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Kali Mahashakti Jai Jarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumantaha Jai Jarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jai Jarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya Shanishwaraya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shankaracharya Shankaracharya Advaita Gurave Jai Jarati Sadgurunata Gurunata Shivananda Jai Jarati Vishnudevananda 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 Jai Jarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shirama Priyaye Jai Jarati Ayyappa Swami Ayyappa Swami Dharma Shastave Jai Jarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jai Jarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nana Gurave Samasarvyo Namaha Jai Jarati Venugopala Om Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachandatarakam Nema Vidyota Bandikatoya Magnihi Tam Eva Bantamanabati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvindam Vibhati Ganye Chayamune Chaiva Gudavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastabhyam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhus Chasaka Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Sarvam Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarava Buddhiyan Manava Prakriti Swabhavan Karomi Yadiyat Sakalam Parasmahi Narayanayiti Samarpayami Sarvadharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Isha Mima Sucha. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you very much, everybody at home, for joining us for this beautiful evening satsang. Have a good night. Sleep well. Everybody here, make sure to take prasad before you leave. Please help us in tidying up the satsang hall. Have a good night. Sleep well. Om Tat.